We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hold on. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday night Vikings Uncensored. As you can see, Brunswick is not here this week, but playing the part of Brunswick this week will be Ryan Bianconi, Vikings fan, film guru, and a little bit of everything, I guess. But
there we go. I'm malleable.
Welcome to the show, and thanks for stepping in tonight.
Thank you, brother. Great to be here. We're going to have some fun.
Yep. We got double the rhino tonight, Drewster. That is correct. 2 for the price of 1.
Yes, sir.
We are down to crunch time. Last preseason game coming up tomorrow night. And a lot of stuff going on. But first, before we get to that, this has been a bad week for a lot of people and everything. Of course, earlier this week, Dolly Parton and Tim Curry both passed away. Today, Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, the legendary voice for millions of us for pretty much every cartoon in the 80s and early 90s.
Me too. Yep.
And then just saw here, just before we came on the air, former Vikings quarterback Bob Lee also passing away today. So,
oh, I did not hear that. That's a bummer. Wow.
Yeah, so the Grim Reaper can sit the fuck down. He's had enough for now. I mean,
he's been feasting in 2026, Rhino.
Yeah,
feasting.
It has been rough, especially the last few days here. But Barber's in the house, Nick's in the house, Ant is in the house, Doc Proto is in the house. Good evening, guys. Welcome, and thank you for joining us again. But
yeah,
got a bunch of news stuff to hit here first, and then we will kind of get into the final 53 predictions and kind of where we're sitting with the position battles. We'll look ahead to the game again tomorrow night against the Broncos, and whatever else you guys want to talk about in the chat. As always, we'll throw it up and discuss it. So hope for in the game against Denver, KOC Carson does something. Yeah, even though it's preseason, I mentioned this earlier this week on our Gallarhorn group that I hope we shove that football right down Sean Payton's face. So
that's a yearly thing, I think. Anytime we got to play those guys. Now, are the coordinators going to call the games again? Do we know, Rhino, or is it going to be?
That's my understanding. They usually do that for the entire preseason. So yeah, I would assume that it'll be Wes Phillips on the offense, and I think there's a couple of coordinators on the defensive side that Flores was letting call the stuff. But whoever called that dropping big citrus off into coverage last week needs to get to call some more plays. But that
can you imagine trying to pass over the middle with just this big wall of purple, like just right in the smack middle like that? You know,
yeah, I mean, who expects a 320-pound nose tackle to drop into coverage? I mean, that was pretty sweet. I mean, and it worked. So
and he did, yeah, he did a good job on that play. That was nice to see, actually.
Yeah, it was. He's starting to come on, and I think he's going to be a solid contributor early on here. So
he's putting in the work. I like what I'm seeing so far. You know, that first preseason game, both him and Banks really looked like they were outmanned. Like oh, we're not playing against boys anymore. We're playing against men. And to see Big Citrus manage to make a bit of a comeback like that was pretty nice to see.
Yeah. Now Caleb Banks, he's not quite as far along, but he flat out admitted his conditioning isn't where it needs to be yet either. He said he's going to be running a lot of gassers after practice here for the next 2 weeks to get ready for the season. But
I'd imagine, like a guy like him that's played even at a high level in college, like he knows what it takes to get there. And so I don't think that's going to take him as long as maybe some are kind of bashing him for. I think he's a pro now. He's been a man among other, boys, so to speak. He knows he's got to get to that level. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really played much meaningful football in over a year because he's been hurt, and he does play with he gets his pad level too high, and he's got to learn to work, keep that down more. But I think once he does that, he's going to be fine. This stuff you're seeing on social media that they're already regretting drafting him. Some of these aggregators, I would just like to reach through the screen and slap them.
But they should have took this guy instead. They should have took Thieneman instead. Oh no. Whew, haven't even played a regular season snap yet, and we're already got buyer's remorse.
We're already calling them busts. Yeah. Jax is here. Dan Henneman is here. Barber, I think you were here earlier. I mentioned you already, but welcome in, guys. Bunch of roster moves though that have already come through this week. They waived with an injury designation cornerback Tyreek Chappelle and defensive tackle Taki Tiamani. Then turned around and signed Jonathan Harris and tight end Matt Lauder.
Wasn't he an MSNBC guy?
Today Show, I think it was. Yeah. And then
had to go there. We did.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, we're all about the puns and the dad jokes and shit like that. But
anybody knows me know. Yeah. If I were in football, I'd be a punter. So.
Then there was one other one yesterday. They waived cornerback Dwight Nudie McGlothern and then turned around and signed cornerback Trey Hawkins III. So he played 2 seasons with the Giants and then was on Washington's practice squad last year. But
somehow I missed McGlothern getting waived. I don't know how I missed that, or maybe I just flat out forgot it. So he's on my 53. Shame on me.
He kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, it seemed like, here during camp. So it's not surprising, but I kind of thought they'd have kept him around, put him on the practice squad.
And he was fairly highly touted considering where we where we picked him up at, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, wasn't there some pretty high hopes for him coming in?
Yeah, he was, and then he was kind of the little project thing for a couple of years there, and then it's kind of never really developed. Now Zemiah Vaughn has passed him by, and then, of course, Chuck Demings. And we'll talk about the rest of them when we get down to the cornerbacks. But
okay.
There's a couple other things.
There we go. I couldn't see the comments, and I hit the – anyway, I can see the comments now.
Okay. Ant Mekhi Blackman got claimed by the Cleveland Browns this afternoon. Like I told you earlier, that he had to go through waivers, and the Browns put a waiver claim in on him, so he's a Cleveland Brown now. So,
okay.
Jacks, we have not talked about those yet, but I'll bring them up in a minute. But first off, wide receiver Jeshaun Jones also announced this week that he's been suspended for the first 3 games of the regular season due to a DUI incident back in April, which somehow they kept it quiet until now. But
yeah, I don't remember hearing word one about that prior to this. So
no, apparently, from what I read, that he got pulled over and then refused to take a breathalyzer, so then got arrested, and apparently that's a 3-game suspension for that. So,
now, in the overall scheme of things, oh, sorry, Ray, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, is there anybody that really thought he was going to contribute beyond maybe being a practice squad guy? I mean, not trying to down talk him breaking the law, but I mean, as far as the grand scheme of business goes, I mean, are we really going to miss him?
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to make the 53. I mean, he'd been playing pretty well in training camp, but I don't think I think they're only going to keep 5 wide receivers, but we can get into that when we
Yeah.
get a little bit down here. But um, the Pro Bowl is no more. That was announced a couple days ago. They are going to still announce the Pro Bowl teams. It's basically going to be like the All Pro voting now. There will be, I believe, they said it was 88 players that will be voted to the Pro Bowl, but there won't be a game. It's just an honor now. So,
Yeah, just a milestone to get a bonus on your contract.
Yep.
Bonus on
But
your salary.
it means more now than the game has for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, for
You're right.
Christ's sake, Shedeur Sanders was a Pro Bowl quarterback last year, and he was the only quarterback in the league that had worse numbers than J.J. McCarthy did. So,
Well, wasn't Ponder a Pro Bowler one of those years too? Because like the 8th guy like couldn't make it. One of those years,
it's
it was somebody really weak. Maybe I'm thinking of Teddy, but it was something like that where like the 8th guy couldn't show up.
Teddy made it that one year. I know
that must have been the one. Okay.
Yeah. Then there was one other rule change that came out today. This is a joint message from the thing from the NFL and NFLPA. Any player now who commits a combination of 3 or more of the following: hip drop tackles, horse collars, launching, hit on a defensive player, or a blindside block will now be suspended for 1 game.
Well, at least you can still drop the elbow, I guess. But holy cow, they had to get that specific with the type of tackles. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of those are penalties already. It's just whether or not they catch them. I mean, there's so many hip drop tackles last year that didn't get called, but.
Well, the Captain Munnerlink suplex on Drew Brees that one game that'll always be a sticking point in my mind.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was a good.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
All right, so now go back to Jax's thing earlier. The Vikings also on Tuesday, I believe it was, released their rivalry jerseys and the whole uniform combination, kind of a deeper purple with the runic Norse patterns and lettering on it. And what are your thoughts on those, I guess?
Well, I'm all for willing to try something different when it comes to jerseys. I mean, it's an entertainment thing, as well as being a sport. There were some complaints that it looks too similar to some of the Ravens jerseys. In fact, I think it was on what's the show with Tony Bell and Bill Dunkel. I think they said like it was the same pattern or same designer that worked on the Ravens rivalry jerseys a year ago, and just I don't know. I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I kind of wish that I think that's supposed to be like a gold that's got that intertwined pattern, right?
Yeah.
I wish it was a little more of that brighter gold, like we have
Right.
on our colors traditionally. But I mean, it didn't move the needle for me anyway.
No, it kind of went almost a little bit more of a bronze than a gold now. But,
Yes. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't hate them, but yeah, I mean, the first thing I did when I saw them, I said it looks like a fucking Ravens uniform. But when you look at them a little bit closer, it's not terrible. Like I said, there's a lot worse ones out there. The Bears ones are terrible. The Packers look like they went and raided the discount bin at the bookstore at Baylor University.
And then apparently the Lions ones aren't exactly like they look like Panthers jerseys or something. That's what I heard. I hadn't had a chance to see it yet, but
yeah, Drew with a good point here too. It's
that's right.
Looking good doesn't matter as long as you win the games, but there are some pretty hideous jerseys that they've trotted out there, like those. When the Pittsburgh Steelers wear those Bumblebee uniforms, I can't even watch those games. It gives me a freaking migraine.
Reminds me of those old Three Stooges sketches, where they got the leather caps on and they try to kick the ball and you hear those sound effects. Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, numbskull.
Yeah. So let's, since it was brought up, oh, Doc wants to put this up here first. Obvious money grab by the NFL. Yeah, it is. But as long as people keep buying the shit, they're going to keep pumping it out. I mean, Nike's going to make a ton of money off it. NFL is going to make a ton of money off it. And me, if I decide to, I will likely go on some non-sanctioned site and get it for a third of the price. But not that I'm advocating for that, but you know.
Did you have any ideas for like an alternate design than what we had right now? Like any I mean, I don't know if you put any thought into it, but I mean, just for example, like you got those one alternates of the Bengals where it's all white and then the stripes on the helmet are black, but the helmet's white.
Yeah.
You know, like so it looks more like one of those white tiger kind of outfits.
Now,
like I thought that was kind of a neat
like
design.
that uniform combo, but you know it. I never really put too much thought into it. I guess I'm just. My hope was that Nike didn't come out and just screw it up and make it look terrible, because I'd seen some of those that really looked bad. The Buffalo Bills ones looked terrible as far as I was concerned.
I haven't seen those yet either, yeah, but I've heard not good things.
Buffaloes to me look like some non-sanctioned video game that didn't pay for the rights to use the team name and logo, so they just made something that looked similar. But anyway, that's enough on the uniforms. We just figured we'd hit it, but I saw the hoodies that they have with that. The hoodies look really sweet. I like those.
Yes, I did see those. Yes, those look cool. Those look very cool.
I'd go along with that, Drew. The VU logo should be a specialty helmet.
There you go.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll license the rights to the Vikings for a small fee. That would work.
Get you a skybox for a game, Rhino.
Yeah, there we go. Jax, yeah, this is the last news thing I was going to talk about. Everson Griffin, you know, a month or so ago, he was talking about how he was all better and he wanted to come back and play in the NFL and everything else. And then now they tased him alongside the interstate, walking down the shore on the road here. Was it last night or night before last? At like 3:00 in the morning.
Oh man, and he's still young. He can still turn it around, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's 38 right now, something like that. But
yeah.
He's got some serious issues, and I had heard he was doing pretty well, so I don't know, did he relapsed or what happened? But whether it's CTE or whether it's just mental.
And the sad part about him is you hear him talk, you just get a good energy off of him when he's in the good place, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He used to be on those sideline interviews, and when he'd be mic'd up, and I swear to God, he sounded just like the ladies' man from SNL, the what's his name, Tim Meadows' character back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Because he had that little bit of a lisp. He'd like, so as you're holding the clothes,
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna get that guy. Just he was a character, and you'd like to see a guy like that be able to put that to rest and do well in life. So I get well soon, Griff. Come on, buddy.
Yep. All right. So with that, why don't we roll into the roster predictions and where we're kind of sitting here.
Okay.
As we get to the final preseason game, you're going to have, of course, the bubble guys trying to make the roster. You got some of the guys that are solidifying themselves, and then after the game on Friday, then I believe it's Saturday noon. I believe it is when they have to have the roster cut down to 50. Is Saturday noon or Sunday noon? I forget which one.
It's Sunday. Yeah, Sunday I was looking at that earlier. Sunday. Yeah.
To get the final cut down to 53, then they start the practice squads, and then the signings and the additional cuts after that are going to happen too. So, but
sure.
Might as well start off with the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Of course, the quarterback position. Of course, Kyler Murray named the starter. After that, I don't know what to tell you as far as who's going to be QB2 and who's going to be QB3. I would like to say that it's going to be J.J. McCarthy that's your backup, but
Yeah.
as it sits right now, I'm not even sure he's going to be on the roster come Sunday. They're not going to cut him. I don't care what Mike Florio says. They're not going to just
Right.
walk away from him. But
I don't
it
think they
would,
trade him either. Just you're not going to get
you're
squat
not
for
going
him.
to get
Yeah.
anything for him. But it wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't be shocked just from some of the stuff I've heard that if they did move him. But I mean, right now with
Well,
go ahead.
can I speak on that portion of it real quick,
Oh
Rhino?
yeah, yep,
You know, there's that section. I call a lot of us doing the Vikings thing on YouTube. I call that Vikes Tube or Vikings Tube, right? And you got this really small faction of the Vikes tubers that are so sure we're going to trade JJ McCarthy for Anthony Richardson, and I just want to ask why. Okay, we're going to be trading one headache for a bigger headache, and
yeah.
neither of them can stay on the field. Why would we do that?
Because there is a segment of, and it's not just the tubers, it's Vikings fan base in general, that they are just pissed off at the fact that JJ McCarthy breathes air.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yes, you're correct.
And yeah, I've seen that thing too, but I don't want. I mean, and we talked. Lance and I talked about this a week or so ago. I mean, we were both on the Anthony Richardson train and coming up to the
Oh, you guys
draft.
were hardcore for Richardson back then. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I fully admit I blew that assessment big time. I don't want anything to do with him because he's a bigger project than McCarthy is right now.
I think so too. Yeah. Um, just quick thought on that. Unless you wanted to move on real quick.
No, I mean you know how the show goes. If you got a thought, throw it out there. We're not.
Hey, thank you, Drew. Greatest bass player in the world, right there. You know, it seems to me, when you talk about Wentz possibly being number two, I'm all for that because Wentz just looks comfortable. He looks like he's the guy that can be there in a pinch. Um, JJ looks like what I call mind blocked. Okay, some call it getting the yips, some call it being psyched out. It looks like he's trying so hard not to make a mistake because he wants to prove something where he's not just going out there and playing. And if he does get demoted to quarterback three, if he is just the emergency guy or whatever that rule is now that you can but you can't have three on Sundays or something like that, if that does happen, I think that just might be the best thing for him because then he can just kind of take a little space, work on himself, and then when his number gets called, because we've got Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, and JJ McCarthy, all three of them get hurt all the time. And write this down: Kyler Murray will get hurt by week 6. Write it down. And if it's Carson that goes in for those couple games, well, JJ's going to be right there. And we see that even when our offensive line is getting overwhelmed by a good defensive line, Kevin O'Connell still wants to call 7-step and 9-step drops.
Right.
And that's what got Carson killed in that Chargers game last year. So JJ still has to be ready, even if he is QB3. And I think that'd be a great story for him to be able to kind of come up out of the the ashes that he's kind of got himself burned under. I guess that's a long-winded way of saying I still believe he can make something happen here, and I don't want to see him go.
Yeah, I don't either. I've been big on the McCarthy train ever since we drafted him, but right, he's in his own head right now. You can see his confidence is completely shot, and yeah, I think he should have sat last year. Hindsight being 2020 and all, but
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea for him if he has to be QB3 this year, at least temporarily. And I've seen this thrown out many places too. If Kyler goes down during a game, who do you trust most to come in and finish off that game? Probably Carson Wentz.
Right now, yes.
But then, then the potential, if McCarthy does work on some of his stuff and he's showing it in practice and stuff like that, there's nothing that says that the following week McCarthy couldn't come in and be the starter. Wentz would still be QB2, and then you let JJ have a swing at things until Murray came back. But
well, and you never know too. I mean, this whole him having a bum ankle thing may be a little bit overplayed, and then he could end up playing was it? It's tomorrow or is it Saturday? The next
Tomorrow
game.
night. But yeah,
Okay, tomorrow.
and
Yeah. What if he goes out there and suddenly that confidence is back and he's playing relaxed, ready to go kill it? You know what I mean? Like that could be. He could turn things around. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, oh yeah,
You just never know.
right. And I mean, is Kevin O'Connell the guy that's going to help him? And and I'm going to add somebody, not just Kevin O'Connell, but Josh McCown. I don't trust that he is in there to help anything with a young quarterback. I mean, you look when he was in Carolina, Bryce Young was terrible that first year plus that he was there, and then when once McCown left, Bryce Young is at least a serviceable starting quarterback right now.
I mean, we're kind of building to that point now where Josh McCown brightens up a quarterback room simply by leaving it.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And I mean, he was a guy that 2 years ago they were all this hype that he was getting head coaching interviews and stuff like that, and now I don't think he's going to even get a coordinator interview the way he's going. But
Brother, you may even see Grant Udisky get a head coaching interview before McCown does next time.
I still maintain that was a huge mistake keeping McCown and letting Udinski go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the next wonder kid, I think, coming into the league, and he'll be a head coach sooner rather than later.
And the Vikings are going to be a footnote in that story instead of a bigger landmark.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's kind of how it usually works, but
for us, yeah.
Right. But as far as the 53, I still think it's going to be those three. It's going to be Murray, McCarthy, and Wentz. QB2, QB3 being what it is. I think those three are on the active roster once the cuts are done. And Brosmer, they'll probably put him to the practice squad, but they like him, but wouldn't hurt my feelings at all if they found somebody better for that developmental guy too. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't, a year ago at this time, we would have said that he'd probably get sniped off the practice squad. Now I don't think we have to worry about that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they saw him play. Now, if he comes out and throws 4 touchdowns in the second half tomorrow night, then that might be a different story. But
right. It'd come a long way from being scared to throw the ball against, what was that, the Lions game?
The Lions, yeah. He threw for 51 yards in that game, yeah. Yeah. Or then, what was it, that first start when he threw that god-awful pick six on the sidelines there, too.
The softball, slow pitch softball.
Yeah, the underhand pitch right to the cornerback or whatever it was, yeah.
But I was trying to get a strike.
Yeah.
It was a 7-10 split, I swear.
All right. Next position, running back.
Okay.
Aaron Jones.
I probably got a similar lineup to you, but go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, obviously, are your RB1, RB2, whichever way you want to look at it. I think Mason should be your RB1, but whatever. And then I have Damon Claiborne making the roster as well. I know they like him. He's got some work to do, but he's the only thing that they've got on this roster that's got the speed that can, potentially break one.
And just give you something different, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean the Xavier Scott. What does he really do different from Mason or from Jones? You know what I mean?
Because last year they kind of had him on there because they liked the fact that his pass blocking, but his pass blocking has not been good in the preseason this year. There's been a couple plays where he's just flat got blown up. So, there you're back. Lost you for a second there. And then there's Jamar Jefferson too, who, that's one of those, who the hell's this guy kind of thing. But yeah, I think so at 2 Ant. I think they can get Xavier Scott to the practice squad, but they won't get Claiborne there. Somebody would snipe him, I believe, if they did that. And we lost Ryan. Give him a second to come back here. And the first game in the season is a late game. Well, it'd still be a noon game for you, Doc. That's not a terrible one, I guess. But I hate the. I'm not a big fan of the 3 p.m. games either. I'd rather do the noon games and get it done, and then I've always got 875 projects going on, so I can go get that stuff done after the game. But
Well, when I lived in Minnesota, growing up there and everything, it was like you'd go to church and you'd go home, and then the game would be on.
right,
Whereas out here in California, I basically wake up and and then go watch the game. So sometimes those later games are okay, but like you said, I mean, just when they're earlier, you finish the game, you got the whole rest of the day to do whatever else you got to do.
you know.
And sometimes it's just watching more football. So
Well, yeah, it is depending upon who the late game is, because with the,
right,
Jax is going to the game tomorrow, 7 p.m. local time.
cool. Rhino, was there any other mention to some of the other starters on offense playing? Are they just gonna we're not gonna see Addison,
No,
Jefferson, Hawkinson?
No, I don't think that any of those guys are going to play. You're going to see, I would say maybe somebody like Bredesen might play a little bit, but if you noticed yesterday, they created a second fullback.
Yes, I made sure to include him on my 53 man. But yes, that was cool. That was really cool to see, actually.
They switched Chaz Chambliss's number from 57 to 40, so he doesn't have to report in if they want to bring him in as a fullback. So I think that pretty much cements his position on the roster. But
yeah, and it goes back to how they just love having guys that can be versatile and line up wherever they need them. That's actually a pretty brilliant move, if you ask me.
Yeah, and it just gives something else. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see them trot him out there on offense tomorrow night just to put it on tape. But
get the novelty out there, sure.
Right.
A quick question on that, Rhino. They made mention about him being the third player to wear number 40. When they were saying that, was just that who's been in camp this off season? Like, what was that all about? I didn't quite understand why they.
I didn't hear about that, but because
I saw that mentioned a couple times when they mentioned the position change. So I thought that's kind of a bizarre thing to bring up. Like
the third fullback to wear 40, maybe. I mean, because Klein Saucer was 40.
Mm-hmm.
But I think wasn't Ivan Pace? Ivan Pace was 40 his first year. But
yeah, that's right. Yep. Hey, is that Brunsy I see in the chat?
Yes, it is. Brunswick.
All right, Brunsy, what's up, buddy?
Getting a little bit in here on the show on his little weekend off vacay, but he can't quit us no matter what. So
yeah.
Anyway, let's roll on to the wide receivers. I have them keeping 5.
Me too.
And pretty sure we both have the same. Of course, Jeshaun Jones, Trayvon Rudolph, Dante Fleming, and Michael Briscoe. That's our starting 5. And
you nailed it. Stuck the landing. You're a pilot.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't any real drama there. Ty Felton and Miles Price have cemented themselves as 4-5. I can be persuaded one way or the other which one is which.
You could probably flip-flop them, yeah. You probably could. I think the nice thing about it, though, is that they've both had a really good camp. They've both had pretty good preseason appearances, so it's not like we're squeaking some guy on there that we're just not sure about. Like, I think both of them are going to end up stepping up and doing some nice things this year.
Yeah. And I want to see Miles Price get involved in that, get him in some of that swing passes or run some jet sweeps with him or something like that. Because,
quick little dude.
The kid has got the speed. He's not very big. He's like 5'9", but we've seen it on his kick return stuff. He can fly if he gets in a crease. So Brunswick is eating New York pizza. Sounds good.
I'm jealous. New York pizza's
I haven't
good.
had a good New York slice in a long time.
Oh, thanks for the shout out there, Brunsy. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah,
I could never replace you, brother. I'm only here because Rhino was getting lonely. So
yeah, I need somebody to bounce stuff off of during the show. So.
There we go.
But yeah, there'll be a few of these guys that make the practice squad. I think Dylan Bell. I had high hopes for him coming in to camp. He really hasn't shown out all that much. He did have, I think, 12 targets last week, so that was getting some play in there. But I mean, they're going to try to keep him around.
Yeah. He kind of took off like a rocket, and then kind of came back down to earth. But I mean, when I was specifically watching for him, Rhino, I still see all the effort. I still see a guy trying really hard to make it. He loves the game.
Mm-hmm.
That usually tells you that he's coachable and that he's trying hard in practice too. So it's not like he's trying to skate by and just hope he makes it. You know what I mean? He's out there trying to make it happen. So I respect that.
Yeah, and I think they like him. And I think they like his potential, but he's just not there yet to make the 53. I don't think. But
How big is he, Rhino? I can't remember.
he's got to be. I think he's like right around the 6 foot somewhere. He's not. He's not a. I don't think he's a super tall guy, but he's not Miles Price short either. I don't.
Okay.
If anybody in the chat knows the how tall Dylan Bell is, throw it in there. But
Yeah, I was just curious.
yeah, I knew at one point in time, but Trey, good evening. New name in there. Chevy's back. Good evening. Disgusting Act is in here. Ant is eating Hawaiian pizza.
Ant is on the West Coast now.
Yeah, he's up in the Oregon territory, so
Yep, he's just north of me a little bit. So
have him do some advanced scouting for the Ducks for this year.
yeah, there we go.
All right, so let's move on to the tight ends here.
All right.
Obviously, 3 there. I got Hawkinson, Oliver, big surprise there, and then I've got Gavin Bartholomew making the third.
That's where I went as well. I was looking at that now. You hear what's his name, Urasek, mentioned quite a bit, whether it's by K-Fan or some of those post game shows or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I thought about putting him there, but I just thought, this is very likely Hawkinson's last year with us, and Bartholomew's showing some pretty good skills getting that ball, mixing it up. I would prefer that they try to go with the guy that looks like he wants to make a play. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like that's why I went with Bartholomew myself.
Yeah, and prior to the training camp and stuff, I said it was Urasek's spot to lose, but then Bartholomew came out, like you said, he'd been out there, he's been catching everything. I mean, listening to the beat guys, that are at practice and stuff every day, they said he has really looked good. So I think that that becomes the thing that pushes him into tight end 3, and I think Urasek, as long as he clears waivers, he'll be on the practice squad. So
right, and I still believe in Urasek's potential as well, but just I thought Bartholomew was making a lot more plays.
Yeah, and Urasek's a little better as a blocker and stuff too. So they have that option if they they can bring him up for game time and things like that. But then on the
he's a quick note. Sorry, yeah. Reno. Bartholomew's, this is his second year, right?
Yeah, he didn't play at all last year because he injured his back in like OTAs or something like that, and then
okay,
that's on IR the entire time. So we never got to see any of him in camp or anything like that. But yeah, so okay. I mean, he's made the most of his opportunity. We'll put it that way, anyway.
Oh yeah. Which is kind of fun to watch. You know what I mean? Like seeing some of these guys that just didn't really move the needle one way, and then all of a sudden they kind of come out and they make an impression. You just love to see that.
Yep. All right. Go to the offensive line now. At tackle, I have him keeping 4. Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill, Vandemark, and Caleb Tiernan. Now, Tiernan, I think, is injured right now, so they might put him on short-term IR, which would open up another spot. And he didn't look that good in the one game he did play, but, it's they drafted him high enough, so, I mean, I think that's guaranteed that they keep him around, whether it's stashing him on IR for right now or what it is. But
and he's one of those that they're kind of trying to do the swing thing too, right? Because didn't he take some snaps at right guard at one point? Was that him?
Yeah, I think he might have, or like back in mini camp or OTAs or something like that. But
I went with that same 4 basically. 2 starters, 2 backups basically.
Yeah.
On the tackle front.
Guards. I have Will Fries, Donovan Jackson, Joe Huber, Henry Bird, and then I also kept Joshua Gray, the guy they just brought in last week. Simply for the fact of his ability to play center, and the center position kind of scares me right now.
Yeah, my only difference is I only kept 3 because there's always that weird, bizarre roster move that you're just like, well, what's that all about?
Yeah.
And since they really like to emphasize guys that can play multiple spots on the field, and in this case on the line, I just went with Fries, Jackson, and then Huber because you hear his name mentioned quite a bit. But I just kind of figured, like, I feel like that's one area that we're always kind of say, be more serious about the offensive line. I just got this weird feeling like they're going to kind of try to go as minimalistically there as possible. So that's why I only had us keeping 3 guards.
And I have Bird and Gray as bubble guys. They could very just as easily be put on the practice squad and then be there for call ups if needed too. But
Okay.
for right now, I have them on the roster just because I had to fill out for 53. But I fully expect there to be at least probably 2 people on the final 53 that weren't on there when the final cuts are made on Sunday. So,
what was it? They say that the final 53 day might be the final 53 for that day. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same roster even the following day. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Henry Bird, I mean, they've been moving him around and using him in a lot of different spots. I think they like him. And that's why I have him at least as a bubble guy, and I put him on for right now. But like I said, if it comes to the point, they find there's somebody better available out there, yeah, he would be the first guy probably to be dropped off and onto the.
Hey, Rhino, Matt Blair, HOF, or
yeah, that's Ant.
What's that?
That's Ant.
Oh, is that Ant? Okay. Oh, okay. That now it makes sense. Brandel at center not going to be good this year. We are screwed. Okay, I should have caught
that. Yeah, going to the centers right now. I mean, right now I've got Brandel and Juergens kept, but center is a position that I think that could be one of those that our starter is not there yet. I know they've been trying to get Brandel to do it, but he's been having so many problems with those shotgun snaps, and Murray's going to be playing out of the shotgun more, and that a botched snap or two is the difference between winning and losing a game. I mean, you can't. I don't know that you can trust that.
Yeah, and what's kind of bizarre about it too, and maybe it's just a matter of last year they were running more under center, but because I thought he was arguably the best center we had last year as things went on.
I would agree with that, and I was all for the giving him the opportunity because I thought he'd earned it, but
a blind man could snap better. Was that SQD 5-1? Yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't. Of course, and they haven't played him in a game, which to me is stupid. You should be getting him out there, giving him the reps and stuff. I mean, I know they're not running as much out of the shotgun with Wentz and McCarthy out there, but
and how do you feel about that? With having to go into the shotgun thing more, like, because that's not what O'Connell likes to do. I mean,
no.
How do you feel about that?
I want to see if O'Connell is actually going to alter this stuff, or if it's going to be, the thing where he plays nice with this for the first 3 to 4 weeks or whatever, and then it's like, you've been here long enough. Now you're going to run it my way, and then they, put Murray.
Astronaut Part 2, in other words.
Right.
Only it's going to be the Smurfstronaut, maybe.
Yeah. Kyler, who's 5'10" on a good day, standing behind a 6'7" center, and Kevin O'Connell let it slip at one of the pressers here a week or so ago. He said that Kyler Murray had admitted that there's been times when he can't see behind the line.
Right. Yeah, and he got raked. KOC got raked over the coals pretty good in the media on that one.
Yep.
What was it? Kyle Brandt on NFL. What's that show he's on? The
NFL
Football Morning.
Good morning, or Good Morning. Football.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I think it was him that just was like, you can't say that about your quarterback. Like, what's wrong with you?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing, Dan. I don't trust Kevin O'Connell to do that, and
I hate to say it, but he's a lot like Brad Childress in that regard. Like, he's gonna do what he wants to the point of fail beyond fail.
Yeah, and Lance and I talked about that once before. I called him Brad Childress with a better personality. You know, they're both equally as stubborn on their kick-ass offenses and that kind of stuff, you know.
What's that? We're not going to bomb it on 3rd and 1? The heck you say?
Yeah. Third and half an inch, 40-yard bomb. I'm just waiting to have KOC stand there with that constipated look on his face the first time Kyler Murray checks out of one of his called deep bomb plays and takes off running.
I mean, you know, he gave Dobbs that earful on, what was that touchdown or something like that? Wasn't it that play? And it was like, dude, we just scored. What are you talking about?
Right. Well,
that time's coming.
You saw it last year too when, you know, that was it the Cleveland game with Wentz when he had to, you know, he was almost like he was about ready to cry in his post-game press conference that he had to change the offense and this and that. Dude, you fucking won. It doesn't matter.
The short game was working, and yeah. He's like, no, it's got to be 25 or more. Yeah, that was that. I mean, it was like, you know, like when you're trying to get your, you know, kid to eat some Brussels sprouts or something, like just you had to choke that press conference down basically.
Yeah, I seriously thought they were gonna have to bring him out a box of Kleenex because it was. All right, so moving over to the defense. Defensive line, I've got them keeping 5/6 because I've got Tyrone Ingham Dawkins as they've been playing him at edge, so they're going to be kind of shuffling him back and forth between there. But the strictly DL or D-line guys only, Caleb Banks, Big Citrus, Jalen Redmond, Elijah Williams, and Levi Drake Rodriguez.
Okay, yeah, I'm lined up with you on that one.
Okay, I think you know, guys like Isaiah Loudermilk probably make, you know, he's a veteran, but you can put veterans on the practice squad now, so I would assume they probably put him in there. The edge spot. Now this is another one where I think there could be somebody brought in. I think, you know, they've been trying not to do it through the entire training camp here, but I mean, obviously you've got Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner, your starters, and I think Turner's sitting on a powder keg ready to frickin' explode.
Yeah. He's, I mean, just they say he's even bulkier now, but yet he's faster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got more moves now. He's still super quick. Like, yeah. I think we're going to finally see what that trade up in the first round a few years ago was all about.
Well, and just the limited snaps that he's played in the preseason, I think he's got 2 sacks, I think, and a couple of tackles for loss, and
then they say he had Lamar dead to rights more than once.
Oh yeah, he had Lamar Jackson running for his life in that joint practice stuff.
Yeah. That's what I kept hearing too. Yeah, and then on the matter of the edge, the outside linebacker. I mean, you keep hearing that they keep wanting to switch Golday between off ball and edge, kind of almost like they're kind of grooming him to be Andrew Van Ginkel part 2, and I think that's kind of important to note as well.
Right. So there are pieces that are moving around, and that, you know, that's why they didn't go get a Jadeveon Clowney or somebody like that. But, you know, there's going to be probably some decent backup edge rushers that are going to get released that they might be able to bring in. But
I keep forgetting about that part. Now, is Van Noy still out there, or did he get picked up?
Van Noy is still out there, yeah. But I think he's like 36 years old, so he's not. Yeah, I said LDR. I have him making the right. He's going to start, I think, and then, you know, Citrus will be the rotate in at the nose. But he's on the roster. There's no question about that one.
And he's another one where we're kind of like with Turner, you know, like that first season we saw a rookie that didn't really know what he was doing. He was raw, but you still saw some things. LDR is kind of similar to that, where like you can see they've developed him, they've worked with him, and he's another one that's put in the time, put in the work. And I fully expect him to start alongside Redmond on that line.
Yeah. About goddamn time you
North
showed
VS,
up, Norris.
hey.
Jesus Christ, we're 3/4 the way through the show. So beyond Turner and Van Ginkel, I've got Bo Richter and Chaz Chambliss making the as well. We talked about Chambliss earlier. They gave him a tight or a fullback number so he can play on offense too. So I mean that pretty much cements him in. And I know they like
Almost.
Bo Richter, but
And Bo Richter's made his money on the special teams too. He does really well there. He's got he kind of likes to run his mouth like Jared Allen. So I think there was this weird feeling like he could be the new Jared Allen, which hasn't come to pass. And anybody that was expecting that, pumped the brakes a little bit. But
right.
he's shown up pretty well on special teams. I've always thought so.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's say that those backup guys are going to, are the core special teams guys. So that's how a lot of these guys are making the roster. So.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Rhino? Eric Wilson starts, or you got Ivan Pace starting?
No, it's Eric Wilson. There's no question about that.
Couldn't help myself on that one, man.
Yeah, might as well go to linebackers. I don't even have Ivan Pace making the roster. He's a cut on my list.
Okay.
I have your starters are Cashman and Eric Wilson. Then you've got Jake Olday. And I have undrafted rookie Jake the Snake Roberts making it. He has he's been playing really well in the preseason, and I've heard a lot of good things from the beat writers and stuff, and so I have him making it as the fourth off-ball linebacker.
Okay. I put Pace on just because he's another one that contributes on special teams, even though it was him that missed the tackle on that long-ass Bears return that kept us out of winning the division last year. But I was kind of flipping a coin between him and a couple of the other guys, but I almost feel like he's going to get that, like, okay, you got one more shot to make things right, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like what you said, where he's going to get the axe. So I put Pace. That's our one difference thus far.
Yeah, he might be a guy that they might flip for a day 3 pick or something too. Instead of just straight out cutting.
I wouldn't hate that. Yeah.
And that might happen with a few of these guys, but Ivan Pace last year in pass protection was unplayable, and his saving grace always was defending the run, and last year he couldn't do that either. So.
Right. Yeah, and do you remember Robert Blanton, the safety?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was one year that on was it the power trip that meat sauce guy? He's got a really northern Minnesota way of talking. He goes, Robert Blanton has become a liability in the pass game, and that was kind of Ivan Pace became a liability in the pass game. So,
which is why Eric Wilson started getting playing time, and then he balled out, and
Wilson was always better at playing the pass than the run.
Yeah,
even that first run he had with us.
Chivy called in Purple Daily earlier on that one. Okay,
Jake Roberts, that's him.
Yep.
Pace takes bad angles.
Pace takes bad angles, and that's part of his problem.
Especially when he's trying to play hero ball.
Right. And that's part of it, too. He gets into it and starts to try to do that instead of relying on the fundamentals. And, he's another guy that set the world on fire when he first started, and then he's just regressed every year since then. So, let's see, where were we at? Okay. Cornerbacks. I have 5 making the roster.
Okay.
I have, obviously, Byron Murphy Jr., Isaiah Rodgers, James Pierre. I have Chuck Dennings making the roster. And then I have Davion Armstead making the roster. He's been making a lot of plays in preseason. And from what I hear, they really like his versatility too. So I heard you on. I heard him call you out on Purple Daily today, Norse. So I did hear that. So I can vouch Norse was on Purple Daily today.
Norse, yes, way to go, dude. Way to go. Ruffle those feathers, man.
Yeah. So, what do you got on the cornerback?
What's that? Okay, sorry about that, Reno. What's up?
Who do you have on the cornerback list? I guess.
Okay, so I didn't see that McGlothern got cut, so I put him. I made this up yesterday too. So, and then I stacked because as I mentioned before, I didn't load up the guards, and I just figured because we got defensive backs that get hurt pretty often because they're flying all over the place, and the way that Flores likes to use them in some of those blitz packages and stuff. So I loaded the defensive backs on mine. So so I got Pierre, Rogers, Demings. And then I had to put another, like, this was where it got really tough. Like, I could not think of who to fill out. I was at 52, and I just could not think of who else to put on.
Mhm.
So for the hell of it, I put the Trey Hawkins, the third guy, just because I just had no other bodies to put put in there.
And
So
I mean, they like Zemiah Vaughn too. I mean, he was kind of the developmental guy from last year. I think he's probably still practice squad this year, but wouldn't surprise me to see him make the 53. If they think they can get Armstead to the practice squad, they might do it that way. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, the safety. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, they always the talk sometimes is that Flores doesn't really care about corners and stuff, but I mean, but he sure seems to keep a lot of them around to develop and everything. So I thought that was kind of an interesting critique on him that I
Yeah,
saw some of the.
it's not necessarily. I don't think he doesn't care about corners, but you don't need to have a shutdown cornerback in his system. You can get by with, some of the second tier type guys and things like that because his entire defense is reliant on the pressure of the front seven. So
Yeah. You don't need Xavier Rhodes or
no,
a Darrell Rivas or something, but
right.
yeah.
Be nice to have, but it's not a necessity. So. All right, the safety room. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. I have them keeping, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 safeties.
I kept 5 too, yeah.
Now, prefacing this, Theo Jackson is currently hurt. I can see him going on the short-term IR and not being on to begin with, but I have my starters are Jay Ward and Josh Metellus. Metellus obviously is out there, and I think Jay Ward, the second half of the season last year, came on. The light switch flipped on him, and I think he's earned the starting spot.
Yeah.
But then
it was almost an overnight thing where, like, you were noticing him, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, he's playing.
Right. But yeah, then my last 3, I have the law firm of Thomas and Thomas.
Very nice. Very nice.
Of course, Tavier Thomas and Jacob Thomas has. I mean, he's made himself a roster spot. There's no question about that. The way he's played in the preseason.
Well, I was telling my dad the other day, and I think my dad's watching. So shout out to you, Pops. I hope you're having a good time. I was telling him that some of the things you're hearing about Jacob Thomas reminds me a bit of Ivan Pace when it was Ivan Pace's rookie camp and he was lighting everything up, and then worked his way onto the starting lineup. And I get a similar feeling, just with different skills and different different abilities about Jacob Thomas as well. So which is kind of fun,
Yeah.
being able to pluck out a UDFA like that. So.
Yeah, but the thing about Jacob Thomas is, he's I think a little bit better rounded. He can pass protect, he can run block, and everything else, and kind of where Pace struggled on some of that stuff. But that kid has really impressed me, and so I mean he's obviously on the roster. And then Jacoby Thomas, who has been injured for a couple of weeks, he's back at practice this week. So I actually look to see him get some playing time tomorrow just to get some snaps under his belt, but. He's out.
Kick the rust off.
He's a third-round pick. He's obviously making the roster as well. So.
Well, and he was turning heads before he got hurt.
Right. He looked pretty good. Theo Jackson, like I said, I think he'd probably stash him on short-term IR for right now.
Yeah.
And then, when he comes off, they'll figure it out later. But down to the specialists, kicker, nothing there. Big Leg Bill is the man.
Best in the league as far as I'm concerned, man.
Yeah, I would not argue that point whatsoever. His only weakness is camera wires, and
I was going to say he would have been perfect if it weren't for those damn Brits.
Yeah, well, if you watch, it was in England when he hit. He hit 2 of them. He hit one later in the year too. That his 2 misses were both when he hit camera.
That's
wires.
right. That's right.
If you watch the schedule release thing that he did when he with him and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
His weaknesses were cables and camera wires or whatever it was.
Yep.
But,
yeah, that was funny. That was well done.
Yeah, I really like him, and I hope he continues on his current trajectory and doesn't fall into the curse of the Viking kickers. But
Blair Walsh, man. Blair
yeah,
Walsh was excellent that first year, and then all of a sudden, no.
mm-hmm. Long snapper DePaulo. Of course, he's the only guy we got in camp, and he's definitely back. The last competition we have, and this actually is a true competition, the punter between Hecker and Thorson. I've got Hecker making the roster right now. I like Thorson, and he's got a lot bigger leg. I mean, the guy could regularly boom, 60-plus yard punts.
Yeah.
Johnny Hecker's better at holding. I mean, Thorson has done all right in holding. He's been working on it quite a bit. But Hecker also gives you that, trick play ability in the punt game too. Because I mean,
right.
he's got a good arm on him, and he's pretty accurate with it. So
yeah.
And I think they might be. They could with Thorson. He's can be part of that international pathway program, so they can put him on the practice squad as an extra guy. The only thing would be if somebody snipes him if they try to move him down there. So I would say if the trade-off is going to be, I think if they think they wouldn't be able to get him on the practice squad, then they would keep him on the roster, and you could put Hecker on the practice squad for if you needed to, and call him up a few times if you had to, and whatever all else. But
I do think that Thorson showed enough that when we put him on the practice squad, it shouldn't surprise anybody if he gets a call from another team or gets one of those counter offers where we're going to pay more to be on our practice squad instead. I could see that happening too.
Yeah, and that's where I was torn on this one. So I could be convinced to go either way with it, but
yeah,
I think the Hecker playing for KOC and stuff, or with KOC and with the Rams might kind of push that over the top just a little bit, but wouldn't surprise me either way. So, but that's the roster wrap there. What do you want to see tomorrow night in that game against the Broncos? We're not going to see any of the starters. Probably very few of the twos. They're going to throw the guys out there that are fighting for roster spots, and then whoever else they got to put out there to fill. So,
well, did you see Ant's comment here?
Gruden. Yeah.
I actually got that at a restaurant the other day, so I tried to do my best. Yeah, man, Spider 2 White Banana. I tried to do the impression for the people that said that. But anyway, the big thing for me, Rhino, is going to be, you know what? I want to see JJ make that bounce back. I want to see him go out there and look comfortable and just say, you know what? I'm going to go out there and play, and I'm going to show that I belong in this league. And you got some out there that are murmuring that the Vikings are going to play him, or they're trying to protect him so they can trade him or something like that. Whatever. Forget all of that. Just go out there and show what you got, because we know that you got some tools. You do belong in this league. Go out there and just play your butt off and just have a good time and get back to being you.
Yeah. Well, now, O'Connell said yesterday that as long as his ankle's okay, they want him to start tomorrow night. So the plan is to play him. I guess we'll find out.
But Wentz is supposed to play a series, or are they setting him too?
Wentz will play a little bit, and then I'm guessing they get Brosmer the second half again, kind of like what they did last week. But
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but if McCarthy can't go tomorrow night, that doesn't bode well for him either, because it just shovels more shit on top of the the McCarthy is soft and he's hurt all the time kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to avoid that now.
Yeah, and it's follow Kyler Murray too. I mean, he's got that thing to it. But yeah, McCarthy, until he goes out and proves the narrative's wrong, they're going to be there. I mean, and that's
right.
Just.
Well, and it's kind of funny because for all the guff that Kirk got when he was here, he still played every week.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny how we either got a guy that can keep showing up, or we got guys that can't show up.
Yeah. Well, like Bud Granto used to say, your best ability
Best
is
ability is
availability.
availability. Yep.
You can't help the club if you're in the tub or whatever. Pick whatever platitudes that you want to throw out there, but yeah, and that's the thing. And I still want McCarthy to succeed. I want him to succeed here, but I think the best thing, like you said earlier in the show, is he just got to take a step back, get his mind right, and work on it. The stuff that he needs to work on in the background. I mean, you're going against Flores' defense every day in practice. So
well, and it's kind of interesting that we're always hearing that he's beyond repair or something like that, and that we've never seen a starting quarterback lose his job, get benched, and then come back. Well, I guess nobody watches the Carolina Panthers because that's almost beat by beat what happened to Bryce.
Right.
Like yeah. I don't understand why everyone's acting like it's some sort of magician trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat or something.
No. Yeah, he lost his job to what's his name, the Red Rifle.
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
And then Dalton. The only way that he got it back was Dalton got in a car accident and banged his thumb up. And then when Young came back in, he played well enough to keep the job again.
Yeah, and when he came back in too, he kind of, kind of like what I'm talking about with JJ. Like it just looked, he finally got back into just playing his game and forgetting about whether or not he's going to screw up, whether he's going to make the coach happy, just going out there and winning the ball game.
Yeah,
and that's what JJ's got to get back.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, can he do it here? I don't know. I hope he can. I want him to, but
if he can't do it here, I will tell you this. Whatever happens with our quarterback situation this year, which, everybody, you got, again, that section of Vikes tubers that are saying Kyler Murray's basically the MVP right now. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to set the world on fire. But if he departs, because somebody else wants to pay him $50 million, like they do Brock Purdy over in San Francisco, then I'm hoping we put the full court press on Baker Mayfield because people are saying there's a great quarterback class coming up in this draft.
Yeah.
I don't want KOC or Josh McCown touching another young quarterback. Just stick with the vets. You guys build those guys up just fine.
I don't think, I want the Vikings to have that franchise guy, but yeah, I agree with you. Kevin O'Connell doesn't have the patience, I don't think, to develop a young quarterback.
Yep.
He's not the quarterback whisperer. He is Bob Vila, this old house, we're going to renovate and quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes that's just the way it is. And I mean, you never know. I mean, if things go to turds within the next few years, we don't get a championship out of this coaching crew, we may look back on the whole Darnold thing and say, yeah, that was the guy that ran the KOC system just perfect, and we let him go. And that may end up being like the fixed point in time for KOC if we don't get things turned around.
Yeah,
so
I mean if we would have put the emphasis that we're showing now on a running game for Darnold, I mean, that's how they won the Super Bowl in Seattle last year.
Yeah.
Because you had Kenneth Walker and you had Charbonnet, both very good running backs, and that took the pressure off of Darnold. Here, you had him throwing 50 times a game.
Yeah, even when the offensive line was getting brutalized by the defensive line, and just like we talked about earlier,
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell's calling these 7-step drops when they got three steps and he's already got a guy in his face. That was happening to Sam Darnold in those games that we got pretty much found out. So that's why when you mentioned about Seattle going to the run game, well, that was why, because when the passing game wasn't working, they went to the run game.
Right.
Light bulb.
Yep. So, but yeah, and honestly, if the Vikings don't win a playoff game this year, or if they somehow or another miss the playoffs, we might not have to worry about Kevin O'Connell being here to not develop the next young quarterback. I mean, I know the Wills love him, but 6 years in and not, or 5 years in right now, and no playoff wins and only one playoff or two playoff appearances, but.
And you listen to all the talking heads around the league, we're going to go 8-9 again or something like that, and yet they're going to still say that Kevin O'Connell's got one of the best football minds. He's one of the best play callers. Well, if he's so good, why can't we get to the playoffs?
Right. If we are a 7 to 8 win team with the roster that we got, with the defense that we've got, then Kevin O'Connell should not make it past
Yeah.
Black Monday after the end of the season.
Yeah, go home and play Monopoly. Do not pass go.
Right. But all right. Well, we've rolled on for about an hour and 10 minutes here. I got to get up for work in the morning, so
Oh boy.
I think we'll call it last call for anything in the chat over here. Ants, Seattle's good enough to repeat.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, losing Kenneth Walker is going to hurt a lot on the running back side. I mean, I know they have Charbonnet and they drafted what's his name, Jadarian Price from Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But we'll have to see what happens there. I like their coaching staff. I like the team over there, but
they got hot at just the right time, and that Super Bowl matchups just they had the edge in like how their defensive line matched up against their offensive line, and they just overwhelmed Drake May. They didn't give him time to throw, so I think they got hot at the right time, and it's hard to repeat if that's how you won it. You know what I mean? Like, because Philadelphia didn't go back and win it, and everybody thought they were unbelievable. Oh, AB Automation, that good show, guys. Thank you. That's actually that's my brother.
Oh.
So thanks for coming on, Andrew. I really appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Work sucks. Yeah, it does, Norris. But at least I've only got a half day tomorrow. So my Fridays are usually half days. But of course, then I gotta get done on the job that pays me and come home and be farmer Rhino after that. So
there you go. Now, let me ask you right quick, Rhino, because we went over earlier how the coordinators actually called the games last week, and we've always talked about how we wish that our coaching staff would call better run games. What did you think of Wes Phillips running Damon Claiborne up the middle all the time?
Damon Claiborne is too small to run the damn ball up the middle of the freaking thing. He's the guy that you get out on the edge.
Get him in space, yeah. I mean, I think that further shows that the proof is that Wes Phillips is just the guy getting the coffee, every week. I mean, just you want to showcase a guy's speed. I know. Let's have him smash into 300-pound dudes at the line of scrimmage.
Right now,
wow.
Damon Claiborne right now, he's got some of the problem that Adrian Peterson had in the early part of his career too. Right. He's too impatient, and he's not sitting there waiting for the holes to open up. He's just taking it and going, and he's running into the back of the offensive lineman. And when he does that, he hasn't shown yet that he's one that is going to bounce off contact and keep going. It's usually when he's getting hit, he's going down. So
yeah. And I remember him getting was it Alvin Kamara? He was drawing a lot of comparisons to Kamara wasn't a grinder and wasn't a run you go over kind of guy either, but the dude could score, the dude could get those big chunk plays, and we really haven't had that for quite a while. You know what I mean? I don't consider Justin Jefferson that kind of player, because he's going down the field, whereas like Claiborne, almost like how remember Percy Harvin used to catch those passes in the flat or just right in the middle and then take it another 5-10 yards to move the stick. So that's what I'd like to see Claiborne do. Now, I'm not saying Claiborne's Percy Harvin. Please don't misunderstand me, but I just think that you got to use the players correctly that you got. And Wes Phillips, I mean, I like iced coffee with some heavy cream and 8 stevias. So what do you say, brother? Hook me up.
Yeah. And stop and grab some donuts on your way back while you're coming. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I just want to see everybody come out of there healthy. I hope McCarthy can play, and I hope he can come out there and at least look respectable, look like he's making some progress over the last 2 weeks, because the last 2 weeks have not been good for him. Right.
And Norsefius, thank you for the kind words, sir. You and I have chatted a little bit on the live streams in the past, so I appreciate you being here and saying some nice things, bro. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, with that, again, a big thank you to you, Ryan, for jumping on.
Honored to be here, brother,
and helping out. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely get you back on here again. When Brunswick is back, we get the 3 of us going here. We'll have a good old time. And
hell yeah. Brunsy's great. I'd love to run a show with him too. Yeah, that'd be great, bro. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys, everybody in the chat. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys next week. Watch the Facebook page for the times. I'm not sure what Brunswick's schedule's at next week, but we will be back with a wrap of the cuts and look forward to start planning for the season opener against the Packers. So with that...
No.
Yeah.
Pack idiots.
Fuck the Packers. With that, we'll see you guys. Have a great weekend.